Greetings everyone, and Great here for another Agent Powers 4 replay. Spawn on bottom left side as the green Roost, we have Liquid.DeMu. Spawn top right side as the magenta Roost, we have a 4 name. It is of course a Roost mirror, so it's going to come down to early scout aggression. Lava Mill House. Looks like Green does find himself an early exotic doggy to not tame. Of course, I really wish there was... I keep on saying that. The only Age of Empires game where you can actually tame wild animals is, of course, Age of Empires 3, playing as some of the tribes where you can convert some of the guardians as your own little small army you can accumulate in the early game. Oh, howdy, I just saw your YouTube comment. Well, if you're ever interested in more Age of Empires 4 replays, I do have a bit of a playlist you can look on my channel. We got this exotic doggy being killed on off down south. Purple still going around trying to find some deer. This deer has been cleaned up. This deer is dead. These deers are lying dead in the snow. Finding some more deer or wolves around the map. And since now I'm pretty sure that's the Kremlin, right? Oh no, Golden Gate. Got a bit of a rebel there. We got the Kremlin deployed on out for pink, but the Golden Gate allowed the exchange of resources at a more favorable rate, generates additional exchanges every minute. So the Green is maybe eyeing something a little bit special with that. Usually people don't go for the trade because it's just inefficient. So I wonder what the real advantage of the Golden Gate. Because generally it's just not a good idea to trade resources. But it looks like both sides just eyeing the equal on up. Let's go and switch over to Autocaster mode so we can take a look at the bounties accumulated. 350, so he has tier 2, pretty far from tier 3. And for the other player here, we do got a lot of scouts, engaging scouts. And purple's going for our 4 townsend here, and pink or purple, magenta, does not get tier 2, just ever so short. So magenta may want eye for an early boar, or at least go for the high commerce. What's it called? High trade, high commerce, the tier 3 landmark that spawns deer. I always forget the exact name for that one, which also doesn't seem like anything involving trade or commerce. These scouts are scouting around, a bit of a forced recon. Any matter... Ooh, not free camera. Caster mode, that's the button I'm looking for. And now I've got these scouts scouting around. We'll be able to find these Melissa still chasing them. They will be able to find these lumber workers collecting lumber. What a big shock. Of course, where is the big thing? Looks like he's going for some stables there. I wonder if he actually spotted that. Let's go. Seeing those stables would alert him. This one's going to deploy out some early knights. I doubt it's going to be horsemen. It's going to be early knights. Because he's collecting a whole bunch of gold there. That's going to be early knights. Survival techniques have been researched by... Not sure by who. That's probably purple. And it looks like they are going to try to wall in these relics as well. At least purple is. But the scouts are trying to slice up this villager. Scouts have wooden attacks, so it's not going to be very effective. They do bonus damage versus other scouts. I generally don't know who actually wins a fight between 1 villager and 3 scouts. And honestly, would not surprise me if it's the villagers. Scouts do have a good amount of health though, but villagers do have 6 attack as opposed to 1. Yeah, 3 villagers, scouts should be able to deal with a villager, but 2, maybe not. Early Knight does get a good lance charge there, gets some good damage on these scouts as they start running away. More, okay, that's a scout, not Early Knight. Oh, and there we go. Do have a boar kill there, and that should get him the tier 2 bounty as well. Going for Wooden Fortress, and then probably, and there's the, what's it called, the hunting cabin there. And I've got these Early Knights making their way down south. There is some exposed villagers there. Nice thing about the Wooden Fortresses, having 8 slots there is just right to as your roaming patrol of villagers who can all collect the same carcass at the same time. And he does actually lose 2 of the villagers there. So good lance charge there, taking out some villagers. You got a large number of horse archers deployed up by green. Interesting. They can't move and fire at the same time like Magadai. But in comparison to Magadai, they do have higher damage, 1 extra tower range. I think Magadai are like 8 damage, 3.5 tower range. But the horse archers can have to stand, or stop and shoot, which can be a very useful unit still to raid hit villagers. So I still prefer Magadai. Horse archers advancing on forward. 8 horse archers here. Early knights do have only 4 pierce armor, so the 12 attack of these horse archers will be very effective. And it's good for me to look up movement speed. Yeah, 1.62 tiles per second versus 1.62 tiles per second, so they do have the same movement speed. So they can technically outrun each other. And the horse archers have to take time to stand and fire, and of course then the knights can run away in that meantime. So the early knights are still effective versus raiding villagers. Doing a bit of micro there, very good. Receiving a bit of fire. The warrior monk has been spotted there, very nice. Tranquil conversion there. I can never really tell when I can get... He could eventually finish off the warrior monk there, but the horse archers would have finished off these force either way, so probably a good idea that he ran, but does run into a wall. And now he's stuck between a wall, a rock, and a hard place. That was a horrible joke. So have a handful of knights here, got a big wave of horse archers. I love to see this unique playstyle. You don't see mass horse archer. You now got +1 pierce attack being researched by green, which makes sense. His opponent has gone for +1 pierce armor, which makes sense. Now do have tier 3, age 3 research by both players. Got the that's a Kremlin. And high trade house here. Man, the high trade house does act as a giant hunting cabin, so you may not want to chop down the woods, trees nearby, or place in somewhere in an area where you can get a lot of extra gold generation. And for here, we do have the high trade house as well. It has 171 gold per minute, but these trees are going on down. Agenda is now going for a monastery there. Got these knights falling back away from these horse archers. That's 19 horse archers there. Jeez. What are your horse archers prices? They don't cost gold. Magnite do cost gold. I think like they are 120 food, 40 gold. While the horse archer is 80 food, 40 wood. And Mega Knights do take 30 seconds to build per 30-second build time, while the horse archer is 22-second build time. Let's just say I main Mongols, so I can get a comparison between the two off the top of my head. I may main Mongols, though. I may not be very good at them. That's another thing. This fortified wall is going down. Scouts do, of course, have decent torch damage. It's very similar to the bow attack. Yep, 16 versus 13. And good hits there on the early knights. These early knights are having trouble versus, or they're probably full knights now, are having trouble versus these horse archers. He does have a relic here. He could bring it to the front line and try to get some conversions, but he does not. And now these village streets do fire there. Councils do have good range. Horse archers have no pierce armor, so these town soldiers can do severe damage to them. We do now this fortified palace wall trying to be destroyed to get the access to that not so soft inside of a relic. It's probably filled with poke blood. Joke should have gone for is probably filled with blood, poke blood. By the way, you got all these archers here. The archers will be a decent counter to the horse archer, not because it does any bonus damage, but because the horse archers have no pierce armor to defend themselves with. Or not at the moment. You do also have some crossbowmen on the field. That's another good item versus these early knights. I think just going straight for an archery build just to engage his opponent, get out crossbow and deal with early knights, and just go for horse archers as your mounted unit. Who cares? Who wants to get both out stables and archer ranges? Just go for one unit, I guess. Who cares as well? And archers do have 8 attack, plus some versus light melee. Horse archers, of course, do, barring the upgrades, they do half the base damage, a little bit more than half the base damage. What's the cost of an archer compared to 30, 50? So horse archers are cheaper in wood. Of course, they're significantly more expensive in food. Let's see, 50 less, 50 or 10 less, 50 more. So the difference is 40. So the cost is 40 more. For something that has significantly higher stats and mobility, I heard horse archers just straight up better. 115 health. Of course, gets plus 30 health, so and they have about the same base health. They don't get any special damage versus spearmen, but they have the mobility to engage spearmen. Are horse archers straight up better than archers? Am I stupid to assume that? They also are mounted force, so you can mix in some horsemen and knights and mix to support your archers, same way you support your spearmen with archers. These horse archers now falling back, doesn't want to stand and fight. They do, of course, lack the armor, any sort of armor, and now they're going to be engaging these archers in range combat. Archers don't have any base armor as well, so. May not be exactly cost-effective. Maybe that's the biggest drawback. They're not exactly cost-effective, but overall, as a unit, they're not bad whatsoever. If your opponent just wants to go for knights, they do decently well in comparison to archers. So maybe against knight play, would it be royal knights or early knights? Horse archers may be better than going for archer and spearmen. Up here, that monk does go down. Unable to secure that relic. The central sacred site was tapped for a moment. These green archers now engaging, receiving a bit too much fire versus these knights. These knights are patrolling around to got these crossbowmen in pursuit. Those archers are, horse archers are getting some good damage. We do have these hunter cannons being pulled out, trying to sway them. And the archer, and thus when he knows his opponent was not charging him, he immediately put them back to work, even though neither side could play that a little bit differently. Knights receiving a bit more fire there. Throw some rounds on that scout. Got these crossbowmen being pulled out, getting some great kills on those knights. Crossbowmen with good transition, because of course are effective versus these knights. The horse archers he has left over are still effective versus these archers. Do have a couple of his own horsemen deployed on the field, which will be effective versus his opponent's archer, so he's starting to counter his opponent. And more counter units. These knights are still being a bit of a problem as well. It's hard to pin down these knights. It's not just a horse archer thing. But now these villagers getting hit as well. And these knights are falling on back. We do have this hunting cabin here. And these royal knights are not royal knights, knights are being pursued. We got a big wave of archers, now a couple crossbow mix on in. We do find these villagers here. These villagers trying to grab some foray. He does manage to get inside the town center in time. I got some of these defensive spearmen and knights as well, so Green's starting to pull out his own cavalry force, going for the knight upgrade to upgrade his early knights. Warrior Monk seeing a bit of fire there, and now the Warrior Monk will go on down. We have a very good force here of archers, crossbowmen, horsemen, and knights here. Pulled out by Magenta. Do have a wooden force here, not upgrade if anything. Green's now advancing forward with a massive force as well. They've got a massive gate here. Has a good number of horse archers. Horsemen running forward does have some knights mixed on the end. Large number of archers as well as archers. This force is going to be a very long, prolonged fight. I don't think either side has any real advantage. Looks like all of his horse archers may have went down. I actually didn't see any horse archers in that gate. I thought he had some. Great volley there by the Mangonel. The horseman needs to start focusing that one down. Mangonel's going to be backing on off. Redeploying on out. Fires one volley before going down. Gets a small hit there against archers and crossbowmen. And Pink's force being overwhelmed. He does have a good number of archers and crossbows in the region. More reinforced archers. Horsemen advancing forward. These crossbows being pulled out by Purple has not been good because he's not fighting against any heavy armor at the moment. Got a big wave of archers advancing forward. Do have some horse archers in the mix as well. Nothing's inside this town center. He could throw the militia now base forward. Let's get a good stab there, trying to deal with these forces. Militia do bonus damage with just mounted units. Green has too many crossbowmen now. There's going to be a bit of a problem, but these horsemen are still going to get some great work done. Magenta's now trying to go for a defensive keep, trying to help block down this region, pulling some more villagers in the region. Does not decides to ban the keep production. More horsemen being pulled out. Magenta has a decent force of archers here, which will be effective versus all of this. Magenta's now trying to give the keep up now. And these crossmen will be overrun. They can start to step away. They do have good burst damage. It did not fire off the burst there on that militia. They saw the militia there. Now the horsemen are closing out in, get some great damage onto these crossbowmen. Horsemen do get focused down, but these archers, crossbowmen need to start running away. Avoid these archers for the time being, and the ball could get picked off either way. Got a large number of crossbowmen, horsemen here. No more mounted horsemen. Does have a warrior monk somewhere. Magenta's now going for some Mangonel, and now we do have a high armory being put up by Green. Decrease the cost of siege engines in nearby siege engine workshops by 20%. Contains unique siege engine technologies. Got a sizable force of Magenta from here. There's a springboard emplacement in this wooden fortress as well. As well as an arrow upgrade. Green now has advanced to the Imperial Age. Don't see Imperial Age technologies just yet. Too many crossbowmen pulled out by Green. Magenta has abandoned heavy deployment or night deployment and has no man at arms either. So these crossbowmen from both sides are not going to be very useful because there's no heavy armor for each side. Monk advancing forward, we'll get off a stab there. Get the Saints Blessing now. Of course, I don't think the Saints Blessing is going to... it does stick around, even the Saints death around, not or dead. It's not an aura on the monk. It's simply a aura... how to put it? Not a constant aura, but more like a aura instantaneous buff. An AoE buff, that's the term I'm looking for. Horsemen are getting horsemen. Got a good number of archers here as well. Magno firing some rounds as well. Green's pulling out some of these horsemen as well. It's veteran horsemen versus veteran horsemen. You now see the Elite Horseman upgrade, as well as the Elite Crossbowman upgrade, as well as range attack as well. Right now, Green needs to focus on archer stuff, because right now, those crossbowmen are not needed. Large number of horsemen now advancing forward. Magenta has built out a good solid line of walls there. Green has to build some walls, but not a lot over here. And now do got a large, absurd number of siege workshops. You cannot afford that many siege workshops in production. You only need like 2 or 3. Anything more than that, you're not going to have the income to really utilize those siege workshops. Do now have a mining camp being built by Magenta there. I think it's enough villagers to stab that monk. Horseman gains some great damage there. Magenta's horseman is trying to raid. He will run into a pretty sizable range force here. A lot of these horsemen are quite wounded. I think there's going to be a lot of overkill. Now we got some Streltsy here. Streltsy are another good unit, similar to crossbowmen. They do apply their damage easily across everything, and the longer they stand still, the faster they can fire. Or more, I should say, if they're standing still for 10 seconds, then they get plus 10 second fire speed, which is a little bit different than, say, slowly increasing that benefit. We have a handful of elite horsemen being pulled out. And now he's hitting the farms, not the villagers. Now he's hitting the villagers, but these green horsemen will overrun them, no problem. We're going to see a big mass reduction battle coming out soon. Magenta does have an inferior force to green. It does have a good number of military units. And we got this Spoxia tower being pulled out. I actually don't know what that landmark does. Because that... most people just go for the Siege Workshop one. Defensive landmark. Acts as a keep with all weapon placements and increased health. So no, don't need to research any weapon placements. Unlocks the building of stone walls, gates, and stone towers. We're now got the Streltsy advancing on forward. You have some defensive mangonels here, but they're getting overrun. So the Spring Gulls. Spring Gulls are not needed at this moment in time, but it's always a good idea to get some in reserve. And these mangonels will be focused down quite severely. Magenta's force is just simply inferior. He simply does not have the numbers compared to his opponent. We have 40 to 65, and a lot of these horsemen are getting quite wounded. Or, yeah, they are horsemen, not knights. Spearmen would do just fine. Archers would do just fine, but everything else, not so much. This emplacement here this wonder or landmark could have been built a bit farther forward. Green's now trying to go for some more villager stuff. Magenta has 115 villagers, opponent has 126. And these horsemen will be cleaned up, but he's drawing a large number of force over here. Green now is forward with some battering rams. And he's getting chemistry and the faster siege workshop units. These horsemen do find some kills there on some villagers, very nice. And these hunting cabins are getting some gold generation as well. If you take a look at the gold income for each player, got 113 or 1300 versus 1300, so both of them have similar gold generation. Got a good number of infantry here, including some Streltsy. More horsemen being going out. Green's now making their way forward. That is not a landmark town center, that's just a regular town center. It's sort of hard to gauge who's going to win this fight, but Green has a massive number of battering rams here. He's pumping out these battering rams. I guess he is going for, he's using those siege workshops to build out mass battering rams. They only cost wood, and they're relatively cheap and effective for what they do. They just don't have, they simply can get overwhelmed by infantry. And Magenta does back out of the game now. This is Green saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.